9 expert hikers, meticulously prepared for the Siberian winter, tore open their tent from the inside, ran into -30°C darkness, some in their bare feet, and suffered injuries typically seen in high-speed car crashes, yet their skin was untouched. This wasn't an accident, it was an escape from something unseen. We delve into the chilling truth of the Dyatlov Pass incident, separating fact from fiction and revealing the scientific explanations that finally shed light on one of history's most baffling mysteries. In January 1959, Igor Dyatlov, a skilled engineering student, led 8 companions on a challenging trek into the northern Ural Mountains. This group was comprised of experienced skiers and mountaineers, ready for the ambitious, Category 3 expedition. Their optimism, captured in their photographs, belied the grim fate awaiting them. They were not naive adventurers, but seasoned experts, a crucial detail often overlooked in the swirling tales that followed their disappearance. Their intended destination was O'Torton Mountain, a formidable peak in a remote, unforgiving region. The team was well equipped with warm clothing, food, and the necessary gear for a severe winter trek. They kept detailed journals and took numerous photographs, documenting their journey day by day. This documentation provides a rare, intimate glimpse into their final days, showing a cohesive, confident group unaware of the impending disaster on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, or Dead Mountain. When the group failed to return by their scheduled date, rescue operations commenced. What rescuers found on Kholat Syakhl was not a simple accident site, but a scene of profound and baffling terror. The tent was discovered partially buried in snow, slashed open from the inside, its contents left behind. Shoes, coats, and vital supplies were abandoned, indicating an immediate, desperate flight into the sub-zero night. The first 5 bodies were found scattered down the slope, some barely clothed, others wearing only socks. 2 were near the remains of a small campfire, clad in underwear, while 3 more, including Dyatlov, lay further up the slope, seemingly attempting to return to the tent. The scene painted a picture of disoriented individuals, panicked and vulnerable to the extreme cold, yet the full horror of their injuries had yet to be fully uncovered. Months later, the remaining 4 bodies were discovered entombed in a ravine, some 75 meters from the initial discovery. These victims presented the most disturbing clues. Ludmila Dubinina had suffered crushed ribs, her eyes and tongue missing. Semyon Zolotaryov, too, had crushed ribs, and Nicholas Thibault-Brignoles a fractured skull. Crucially, these severe internal injuries showed no external soft tissue damage, as if struck by immense force without leaving a mark on their skin. Further inexplicable findings emerged. Traces of low-level radioactivity were detected on the clothing of some victims, adding another layer of mystery. Why would experienced hikers, in the middle of a remote mountain range, be exposed to radiation? This detail fueled various theories, ranging from secret weapons tests to more outlandish claims. The sheer incongruity of the evidence defied conventional explanations, leaving investigators and the public perplexed for decades. Over the years, the internet and popular culture have produced countless theories, many bordering on the absurd. Claims of Yeti attacks, alien encounters, or vengeful local Mansi tribesmen have frequently dominated discussions. While these make for compelling horror stories, they offer little in the way of credible evidence. The reality, as we shall see, is often far more complex and terrifyingly natural than supernatural speculation. The Mansi people, an indigenous group inhabiting the region, were initially considered suspects. However, investigations quickly cleared them. Their traditional hunting grounds were respected by the hikers, and there was no evidence of conflict or foul play from the local inhabitants. The distinct nature of the injuries and the psychological aspects of the tent's abandonment simply didn't align with any known human attack scenario. Debunking these sensationalized notions allows us to focus on more scientific possibilities. Another long-standing theory involved secret Soviet military testing. The low-level radiation found on clothing, combined with the strategic importance of the Ural region, led many to believe the hikers stumbled upon a forbidden test site. While plausible for the radiation, this theory struggles to explain the bizarre injuries and the inexplicable panic. No evidence of weapons impact or a visible threat was ever found at the site, making it an incomplete explanation. One of the most compelling modern theories centers on the phenomenon of infrasound, low-frequency sound waves inaudible to humans, but capable of inducing panic, anxiety, and even physical discomfort. Strong winds interacting with the topography of Kholat Syakhl could have generated infrasound, causing the hikers to experience intense, unexplained dread, compelling them to flee their tent in a desperate, irrational state. Coupled with infrasound, the concept of paradoxical undressing becomes critical. As hypothermia sets in, the body's thermoregulation system can malfunction, paradoxically causing a sensation of intense heat. Victims rip off their clothes, believing they are overheating, further accelerating their exposure and demise. This explains why some hikers were found severely underdressed in brutal conditions, a tragic physiological response to the extreme cold, exacerbating the horror initiated by panic. Recent scientific research from 2020 to 2021 provides a robust explanation for the traumatic injuries. A Swiss-Russian study modeled a delayed slab avalanche, triggered by wind-blown snow accumulation on a weak layer. Even a relatively small, slow-moving slab of snow could exert immense pressure on a tent pitched at an angle, crushing those inside with forces equivalent to a car crash, yet without burying them completely or causing external scrapes. This model explains how the tent was damaged and why the hikers fled in panic, underdressed, into the night. It accounts for the internal, blunt force trauma found on several bodies, as the snow compressed them against the hard ground or tent poles, before sliding past. The pressure would have been immense, but transient. Fleeing survivors, disoriented by the avalanche's impact and the freezing cold, would then succumb to hypothermia and disorientation. The lingering radioactivity could be attributed to the thorium gas lanterns they carried daily, or simply residual fallout from Soviet nuclear tests in the broader region. While adding to the initial confusion, it ultimately proved to be a red herring in explaining the deaths themselves. The convergence of a delayed slab avalanche causing immediate blunt trauma, followed by panic, hypothermia, and paradoxical undressing, paints a plausible and terrifying picture. The Dyatlov Pass incident, stripped of its sensational myths, reveals a terrifying interplay of natural forces and human vulnerability. A rare type of avalanche, combined with extreme cold and the physiological effects of hypothermia, created a perfect storm of disaster. It is a chilling reminder of the unforgiving power of the wilderness, and how even the most experienced adventurers can fall victim to circumstances beyond their control, leaving behind a mystery that took decades to unravel.